So, a lot of you guys may remember that I recently did a reaction to a video that I found rather comical by a creator known as Switchblade. Now, if you don't remember what I'm referring to here, the video in question was this one right here. Mario has gone woke, new voice actor Kevin Afghani. And this is a video where this person was crying about how the new Mario voice actor has gone woke, and the big reason that he was upset about this was because the new Mario voice actor has he, him pronouns in bio, chat.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Fucking pronouns!
Them fucking pronouns, chat. So he got in a big tizzy over this, and we talked about it, and we kind of had a laugh at it, pretty much. And apparently, they were not too happy about the fact that quite a few people had a bit of a laugh at their expense in regards to this ridiculous video. So much so that they decided to do not one, but two videos in response to their critics.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look at these videos. We're going to see what they had to say. The first video here is, my channel got raided by an army of pronoun weirdos and bots. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Pronoun weirdos, chat. I don't know why I find that really funny, but in any case, let's go ahead and let's take a look at what they had to say here.
Well,
let's just, I don't know. I have a feeling this is going to be pretty funny. So here we go, chat. Without further ado,
Play that shit!
here we go.
I didn't think that I was going to be making another video on this topic, but here we are. Yesterday, the new voice for Super Mario revealed himself. Kevin Afghani is his name, and I posted a reply to that tweet, essentially pointing out that he had pronouns in his bio. He, him pronouns, to be precise. That tweet...
I just don't get it. Like, even if you are someone who doesn't understand the pronoun shit, which I'll be honest, I haven't always understood the pronoun thing. Obviously, I get it now, and you know, hey, if you want to put your pronouns in your bio, I fully support that. I have no issue with that. I didn't always understand it, though. I've even admittedly had some bad takes about pronouns in bio in the past before I understood this stuff. But like, you know, looking at it now with like the knowledge that I have of like pronouns and why people do it and all that stuff, I look at this and I'm like, okay, why is this a big deal? Okay, this guy's a voice actor. He's doing voice work for a video game. How does him having he, him pronouns in bio, even if you're one of the people who doesn't understand why this is a thing, what impact does this have on this guy's ability to do a good voice performance for Mario? And so far, the footage we've seen of them doing the voice work for Mario, it sounds great. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that, like, you know, so many people are like really big fans of Mario, most people probably wouldn't even notice a difference. In fact, I feel like the average gamer will not notice the difference at all. The performance is that good, okay? It's not going to impact anything. So why does this person having pronouns in bio, why is it such a big deal? Why was it such a big deal that it was worth making a 3-minute video bitching about it for? I don't know.
Exploded and is now approaching nearly 2 million views. The video I made about it yesterday now has over 1,000 comments, so yeah, it kind of...
Wait, how many views did this video get? No way. Let me pull... Where's this video at? 30,000 views on this video. Jeez. And keep in mind, like, that is not the norm for their channel. Their channel... gets significantly less views for a lot of their videos. So that's a lot of views for them. Jeez.
Kind of went a little bit viral, but the reason I'm making this video today is to respond to some of the comments that I got. And even though there were over 1,000 comments in the YouTube video, the basic idea behind these comments is generally the same.
So I left the pinned comment, keep smashing that dislike, stay mad. Yeah, that's the funniest thing whenever you see somebody like bitching about like getting dislikes on their videos or whatever. Dislikes are still engagement. So at the end of the day, if somebody's like dislike bombing their videos, because I've had my videos dislike bombed before, I just allow it. Even if somebody like leaves a bunch of comments like shitting on me or whatever, I just allow that shit within reason. Obviously, if they're posting like racist shit or whatever in my comments, then I'll probably get rid of that or other like bigoted shit. But for the most part, like if somebody's posting like comments shitting on me or they're dislike bombing my videos, just let it fucking happen, because that's still engagement and it still drives your channel in the algorithm. One thing I like to do is when somebody leaves a hateful comment, or if they like spam multiple hateful comments on a video, I'll usually respond to them with something along the lines of, thanks for the free algorithm fuel, because that's literally what it is. But anyway.
We'll say something along the lines of, well, everyone has pronouns, as if that somehow proves me wrong.
Everyone has pronouns. It comes with your fucking existence, and people can have whatever pronouns they want. And I'd like to remind you that Charles Martinet is an ally, so your point is completely useless from every angle. This is true. This is actually true. Nobody had a problem with Charles Martinet when he was in support of, like, you know, trans people or people using pronouns and stuff like that. So why is this such an issue for the new guy, but nobody gave a fuck about it when it was Charles Martinet? I don't know.
Yeah, it is a true statement. Everyone does in fact have pronouns. That's not what my issue is, though. What I take issue with is this belief that we somehow have to acknowledge this.
Liana is my partner, Deem is cute, and I belong to Deem. I love Demon very much, and I hope Deem loves Deem himself too.
According to the mob that swarmed me yesterday, and which continues to swarm me today, we have to take people like that seriously. That's according to them. So while everyone may have pronouns and always have had pronouns, it's only a recent development in human history that people have referred to themselves as bugs or dogs or kitten self or whatever weird random crap that they can think of in the moment. And it wouldn't bother me that people want to refer to themselves as these things if it were not for the fact that this movement is not organic in the least bit. It's not a real thing. It's not.
Gayfish in the chat says he's not even correct here. Look, I'll be honest. When it comes to like the neo pronoun stuff, like I'll be honest, I don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. But having said that, like if somebody tells me that they use neo pronouns, I'll respect them. I don't care. I don't see it as that big of an issue, even if I don't understand it. What is the issue? Why is this that big of a deal? I don't know.
But we're supposed to believe that it is.
Gayfesh says neo pronouns are literally not a new thing. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I think that people think it's a new thing just because like it's more common to see this kind of stuff in discussions on like social media and stuff now. But I seem to remember like people having like conversations like this way back in the day on the internet as well. So like it's really not that new of a thing. This is true. But anyway.
Obviously a psychological operation conducted by who knows what intelligence agencies, but it's definitely not an organic development, and you know it isn't, because one of the things is that it's being fed to our kids at the government level. They teach our kids.
Why does everybody go for like the kids argument? Like, it just seems like that's everybody's go-to is like if you disagree with them on something like pronouns or like, you know, anything like that, it's always like, but the kids though. And as Gayfesh in the chat said, laughing my ass off, he legit thinks it's an FBI psyop. True.
To this weird nonsense about gender.
The government is trying to trans your kids. Oh shit! Oh jeez.
Ideology and pronouns and things of that nature. In public school.
Mr. Shalin in the chat says it's the easiest to attack because it scares parents. Yeah, it's one of those things where like everybody wants what's best for kids, right? There's you know, most people, they want what's best for kids. So if you can convince people that something is bad for kids, then it's like an easy win, right? It's just like, oh, anytime you're losing the argument, just bring in the kids and how you're protecting kids, and then you'll sway people who don't know any better, that sort of thing.
That you and I fund with our tax dollars. They're using our tax dollars to destroy the minds of the next generation. And that ultimately is the point of gender ideology and the ascension of so-called pronouns in our culture today.
They're using our tax dollars to trans your kids. My dude, this is some fucking Alex Jones level shit. Oh shit! What the fuck?
No mistake, it has absolutely nothing to do with compassion. What they always do is hide their schemes behind a veil of compassion. So what does any of that have to do with Kevin Afghani? By simply including he, him pronouns in your Twitter bio.
Let's play with this argument for a bit that the government is trying to trans your kids, or they're trying to teach gender ideology to your kids or whatever. Let's play with this argument for 1 second. What does the government gain from talking kids into transitioning or becoming trans or using, different pronouns or whatever the fuck? Okay. Genuinely, what does the government gain by transing kids? Like, indoctrinating kids. That's the word they like to use. As a few people in the chat have already started to say, nothing, It's one thing if you have like this conspiracy theory about something that the government is doing and you can kind of look at it and say, okay, I can see that while I disagree with this crazy conspiracy theory, I can see the logic here because this is what the government would gain if they were to do this. I can definitely look at certain conspiracy theories and see what the advantage would be for the government if they were to do what the conspiracy theory is suggesting they're doing. But I genuinely don't understand what the government would gain from indoctrinating children to transition and become transgender. It doesn't make sense to me. There's no amount of like logic you can give that would make it make sense to me. It just doesn't.
You are essentially acknowledging the legitimacy of a completely illegitimate idea. Yes, he is a male and his pronouns are he, him, but the bigger point is that he shouldn't have to announce that to the world. Humans have gone our entire...
I mean, to be fair, like, you don't have to announce that to the world. I am somebody who, I'm a cis man. I don't have my pronouns in bio. I don't feel the need to do that because I present as a male and I feel like, okay, I feel like most people would know that I'm a male. And so I don't feel the need to put my pronouns in bio. Having said that, if somebody chooses to do so, it's an option. They have chosen to do that. And that's fine. I still don't understand what the problem is with that. Why is that an issue in itself? And even more so, why is it an issue with him being able to do his performance as Mario in Mario games? Why does the fact that he have pronouns in bio somehow make him doing Mario's voice? How does that make it a bad? I don't know. I feel like I'm breaking my brain just trying to understand it.
Evolutionary history without needing to do so. We can take a look at a person and instantly tell what gender they are, unless they're like super ugly or something. But this new cultural shift into having pronouns that can be anything from he to they to z to Megatron or whatever, or being able to change your gender at will has made it necessary, at least in their own woke bubble, to label every part of yourself as some kind of identity and to then have to broadcast it to the world for some reason. But in the original tweet that I did that now has over 2 million views on X, formerly known as Twitter, I said what I said about not wanting pronoun people in Nintendo games, and that was enough for the mob to sick the dogs of hell on me, so to speak. And don't get me wrong, it's not like...
K-Fesh in the chat says, we can always tell, bro, I have a very mass voice and still get misgendered on the phone all the time. Yeah, that's always like the funny argument with like a lot of these people is like, we can tell. And you'll see them like transvestigating people who sometimes it's a person who's not trans at all, but they're totally convinced in their mind because it's like a woman who maybe has some masculine features, suddenly that is not, they must be trans, right? So it's really funny when you see a lot of these like, conservative types making this argument of like, we can tell, when like sometimes you totally can't. So I don't know.
Like, it bothers me. I don't actually care what any of these thousands of people think of me on a personal level. Everything they said went in one ear and straight out of the other. It's like, I really don't care. It's like they're not even there. But I do have to clarify because there were some attempts to change what I said. For example, someone on 4chan posted about the previous video and claimed that I had a Patreon and PayPal links all over it. I don't have either a Patreon or a PayPal at all, and they claimed I said things that I never actually said, like that I wanted to boycott Super Mario Wonder. It's like, I don't want to boycott that game. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm probably going to buy it, but I never said any of those things that they said I did. You can watch the video yourself.
So that makes it even more trivial that they would complain about Kevin Afghani having pronouns in bio. If they're like, oh no, like Mario Wonder is going to be great, and I don't think you should boycott it, and I'm going to buy the game too. Like, even though I would obviously disagree with this mindset, if you had someone who was so outraged by the fact that, you know, Kevin Afghani was somebody who uses pronouns and like, oh, they're the new voice of Mario, and, you know, I'm extremely outraged that they're this kind of person. If they were like, we should boycott the game because we don't support this kind of ideology, while I would obviously heavily disagree with that mindset, at least it would kind of make sense to me why they made the video. It's like, okay, you know, this is what they believe. I disagree. But, you know, they're opting to vote with their wallet and say that I don't agree with this ideology, so I'm not going to support this game. That's not what's happening, though. They're still very much like, oh, no, this game's going to be great, and I'm going to buy it, too, and I'm going to play it. So what was the point in complaining at all? It's very trivial at this point that, like, you would complain at all and then be like, oh, by the way, I'm still buying the game. What?
And see for yourself that I never said any of those things. I would have screenshotted everything in that.
That would essentially be the equivalent of like the, you know, the members of the trans community that complained about Hogwarts Legacy going, Hogwarts Legacy, you know, the revenue for that game is going to support, you know, a turf, and you shouldn't buy the game because, you know, you don't want to support J.K. Rowling. By the way, I'm still buying the game and I'm going to enjoy it because it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. It would be the same sort of thing, right? The same exact thing.
4chan thread, but the thread was pruned before I could. But these people got so ass blasted about this. Like, I can't even count how many people told me to off myself. Okay? Unironically.
Okay, I'll say this, and I believe I said this when I was reacting to his previous video too. Look, obviously, I disagree with this guy. I think he has really dumb takes. I don't think anybody should be telling anybody to kill themselves, though. If you disagree with someone, challenge their ideas. Don't resort to telling people to kill themselves. Don't do that. Just don't.
This is how unhinged and psychotic these people are. They want someone dead. D-E-A-D, dead, just because they disagree with them on a political issue. They'll say it's not political, but the truth is that it is entirely political. This pronoun thing, this gender ideology thing, it's completely political. You mean to tell me modern man went through several 100,000 years of evolution, and not once during that period did we have to walk around with a sign above our heads that announces to everyone around us our preferred pronouns. But now all of a sudden, in the last 5 years or so, everyone is supposed to have pronouns in their bios, as if you can't tell at a glance what someone's gender is. Oh, that's right, it's not that simple anymore, is it? Because now, within the last 5 years or so, it has become commonplace for other genders besides male and female to exist. It has become...
I don't even think that that's the reason why people put pronouns in bio on social media. Correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding of the whole like pronouns and bio thing on social media, other than obviously, you know, that's your chosen gender identity. You know, when you're communicating with somebody on the internet, you know, a lot of people have like, you know, anonymous sort of personas on the internet. They're using, you know, unambiguous like avatars and stuff like that. So you can't always tell what somebody's gender is based solely off of their name on social media or the profile picture they use and stuff like that. So the idea behind the pronouns in bio is so that you know the gender identity of the person you're talking to, because of the fact that it's not always obvious on social media. And so that's why some people will put their pronouns in bio on social media so that you know, right? It's not just a trans thing. It's also a, hey, you know, let's say for my example, I'm a guy You know, let's say I had like an anime profile picture and I didn't have a name where people recognized me as somebody who was, you know, male or something like that. Maybe I just, my profile picture, it was very like, it's not obvious, okay? I could put the pronouns in bio, so let people know, hey, by the way, I'm a guy, I go by he, him, that sort of thing, right? So that's my understanding of why a lot of people, you know, on Discord or on Twitter or other social media, you know, platforms, why they'll put the pronouns in bio, right? That makes sense to me, right? I don't know.
Commonplace for people to choose to refer to themselves with pronouns other than what has been normal for pretty much the entirety of human existence. But Switch, having pronouns in your Twitter bio is just to let people
Grumble in the chat says it's to make it normal to show how you would like to be addressed. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
know what gender you are. No, it's not. It's really not. Announcing your pronouns to everyone, even if they're just real gender pronouns and not the weird made up ones, is something that only ever became a thing within the last few years, when those on the left pushed this new ideology on everyone and said, if you don't abide by this, you're some kind of phobe who hates everyone and has to.
You know what this reminds me of? How is this any different from way back in the day on chat rooms? One of the things we used to do when we were talking to people, and again, you know, when you're in a chat room back in the early days of the internet, you didn't always know the identity of the person you were talking to in one of these chat rooms. So a common question that people used to ask back in the days is ASL, as Erica in the chat is saying. ASL, that stands for age, sex, location. Okay? How is this any different? How is putting pronouns in your bio, you know, so people know your identity on the internet, how is it any different than way back in the day asking ASL in the chat room? The way I look at it, it's the same sort of thing, right? So if you really think about it, while the communication method was different, this really isn't a new concept on the internet. This has been something that people have been doing for a really long time on the internet to be able to identify each other on the internet. The way it was done was different back then, but it's essentially the same concept, right? One in the chat if you agree that it's essentially the same concept, right?
To be canceled. On top of that, some of these geniuses even went as far as to quote unquote misgender me by calling me a she. Dude, calling me a she is like calling a book a shoe, or calling a pair of pants a dress. It doesn't make any logical sense because he or she pronouns are not things that you can just change on a whim. You can't choose your pronouns. You can't. Your pronouns just...
Except you can. You absolutely can. Gender is an expression of your identity. And so if you identify as a woman, then you can use female pronouns. If you identify as a man, you can use male pronouns. If you identify as non-binary, you can use they, them pronouns, etc., etc. Like you literally can.
It's like your gender are decided the moment that you're born. I'm a he because I was born a male.
As is typical, they're conflating sex with gender, which they're not the same thing. They're two very different things.
Born a girl, you would call me a she. That is it. There's nothing more to it. It's not any more
Generic in the chat says you're having some crazy voice cracks right now. Welcome to the world of living life with GERD.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
It sucks.
complicated than that, and no amount of saying otherwise is ever going to change that fact. One dude even called me the F word, you know, the slur for gays. I don't know how in his mind he was helping the LGB cause by using a slur they deem offensive, but okay, whatever. And with that, I'm gonna end the video there. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for
as if he actually cares about the LGBTQ plus community, but okay.
More combo tutorials, online matches, and video game news. I'm Switchblade. Done.
Gay Fashion in the chat says, laughing my ass off, he said LGB and didn't even include the T. I noticed that. I did catch that. He didn't, he specifically excluded the T. I wonder why.
Oh shit!
I wonder why. So, as I mentioned, chat, They didn't just do one video in response to this. They did 2 videos, chat. So here's the second video. Oh boy, we have a Wojak of an obese dude with a Reset Era t-shirt, and we got some purple hair. This is going to be good, chat. Okay, let's go ahead and let's dive into video number 2. Come on, Leafy.
Play that shit!
Here we go. Here we go.
This is going to be an explanation of the things that have been going on with my channel.
By the way, this video's title is Final Response to the Haters, because one response wasn't enough. We got to have 2.
Over the past few days, and the enormous horde of weirdos that have decided to raid my Twitter.
Again, like, I will say this. He's circling some comments where people are telling him to game end and chat. I don't condone that kind of behavior. If you disagree with them, don't tell people to end their lives, okay? There's plenty of things you can say that are, like, insulting or challenging their argument or whatever the case may be. Don't tell someone to kill themselves just because you disagree with them. I've gone as far as to say this before, and I'll say it again. I don't encourage or condone any forms of like harassment or shit like this. And I've always gone on record to say that if I find out that people in my community are engaging in this kind of behavior, you will be banned from my community. Both my chat, my Discord server, pretty much any platform I have, you'll be banned from it because I don't encourage this kind of shit. So just don't do this. I'm not a fan of this kind of shit. Anyway.
Twitter and my YouTube channel. Lately, there's been a horde of zombie-like, weird pronoun people that have become fixated.
Weird pronoun people. I don't know why I find that funny.
On my Twitter and on my YouTube channel. What they have been doing is raiding both of those accounts with an enormous amount of spam, hate comments, death threats, and telling me to unalive myself, so to speak. Their operation is an attempt to make me deactivate this channel and my Twitter account as well. And it is so widespread that the original tweet I made on X, which is what sparked this, now has 3.9 million views. This video will be my
4.1 in this screenshot. Holy shit. If you guys don't remember like the tweet that he's talking about, I showed this in my original video, but like basically the new voice actor for Mario had announced on Twitter, hey guys, just letting you guys know, I'm the new voice actor for Mario and Super Mario Wonder, and it's awesome and stuff like that. And of course, like their reply to it was, oh, you're a pronoun person. And like bitching about it. It's a tweet. Great, a pronoun person is now Mario. What the fuck? Fuck that. Get the OG back. No pronoun people in my Nintendo.
My last on this topic and regular content will commence tomorrow. So what sparked this major backlash against me? Well, if you haven't seen my 2 previous videos, then I'll give a short explanation here. The new voice for Mario in Super Mario Bros. Wonder revealed himself a few days ago, and when he did, I noticed that in his bio of his Twitter account, he had listed he, him as his pronouns. Because of that, I posted a...
We're now talking about 3 videos, chat. This guy is coping so hard that we have 3 fucking videos centered around a guy having he, him in his bio, chat. Tell me that's not cope.
You are coping.
3 fucking videos on the words he, him in someone's Twitter bio.
Yes, you're coping.
Oh,
Coping and seething.
what a loser.
It's scalding, and now you are
This is just
molding
sad.
and coping.
Oh my god.
So
I fucking hate everyone.
reply in his thread and said the following: a pronoun person is now Mario. What the fuck? Fuck that. Get the OG back, no pronoun people in my Nintendo. This one harmless tweet resulted in nearly 4 million views and constant daily rating of my YouTube channel and Twitter account, along with death threats. So let's just break this tweet down a bit. What do I mean by pronoun?
You know what's really funny, chat? when you see these kind of people, these like anti-woke types or whatever, they always go on about how, like, let's say, you know, someone on the left, you know, they give a, you know, a take on Twitter or something like that, and a bunch of rightoids disagree with it, and so they'll respond to the tweet, and, you know, they'll bombard the tweet and stuff like that, and, like, you know, sometimes those people will get death threats too, and so, like, you'll see them comment on, like, I'm getting death threats because I posted this tweet, or, you know, I made this YouTube video or whatever, and oh, death threats, boo-hoo, grow the fuck up. And they like basically make you out to be like a wimp because like you're getting death threats and like you're uncomfortable about it. And they're just like, just whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Like, who cares? Like they're internet death threats. Everybody gets them. Nothing happens. Who cares? But then when they're the subject of this stuff, which again, I don't condone sending people death threats, telling them to kill themselves, stuff like that. I don't condone that kind of stuff. Okay. But like, why is it, oh, who cares? It's not a big deal when it's someone on the left. But when it's one of these anti-woke people, it's like, guys, you don't understand. I'm getting death threats.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh, now it's a problem because it's you. Oh, okay.
Person. Well, if you've been at all attuned to the goings on in the culture wars lately, then you already know what I mean, and I shouldn't have to explain it. But these weirdos that went on this massive hate campaign against me, they decided to pretend that they didn't
Hate campaign. And again, I want to make this very fucking clear. I don't approve of the death threats. I don't approve of the kill yourself, you know, anything that would be considered legitimate harassment. I don't approve of that shit, okay? But like harassment campaign, I'm willing to bet that probably 80 to 90% of the people who had something to say that didn't agree with what you have to say were just disagreeing with you. And they thought that you had a really dumb take, okay? It's not a harassment campaign.
know what I was talking about. They pretended that I was referring to normal everyday pronouns like he, her, this, that, and they. They in the plural sense. That's how they constructed their argument. It was a massive fake out.
That's another thing I always laugh at, chat, when you see the people who are like, oh, you know, they in the plural sense. You do know that you can use they in a singular sense, right? Because like I've seen people say, oh, well, you know, using they, them pronouns doesn't really make sense because you're talking about one person and it's not like a group of people or whatever. And it's like, they, them isn't exclusively like plural. Like you know that, right? You can use they, them in a singular sense. Like I'll give you an example. I talked to Jimmy. He or they work at McDonald's, right? I talked to Jessica. They went to the mall. Or I'm gonna go see Eric. I'm visiting them at the mall. Or like, you know, just there's singular ways in which you can use they and them. It's not like exclusively like a plural thing. Like I even remember I think Keemstar used that argument when he was having a conversation with Keffels on her stream. And it's like, they, them is not exclusively like a plural thing. Like, tell me you failed English class without telling me you failed English class.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Like, damn.
From the very beginning. What I mean by pronoun people is the neo pronouns. Things like demon self.
Briam in the chat, is your friend coming? What's their name? True. What is this? The mail delivery person is here. Are they still here? True.
Kitten self. People who want to be referred to as they or any multitude of other made up pronouns. I guess the next question you ask.
Wait, they is a made up pronoun now? They is a made up pronoun now, apparently?
Be, but if he's male, then, and he uses he, him pronouns, then what's the problem? Again, if you have a brain, then you already know, but I'm just going to explain it for the smooth brains out there because I know you're watching.
If you have a brain and you already know, I feel like I can go on Twitter and just kind of like, again, like my understanding of like the pronouns in bio, specifically on social media, other than, you know, that's your identity, it's to help people better understand someone's identity where it may not be like super obvious, right? For whatever reason. Like, let me pick a random person on like Twitter. Let's Let me see. I'm trying to find like a good example. I'm just browsing Twitter at the moment. We'll use, let's see. That's a gimmick account, so that's not a good example. I'll use this one, okay? Just based purely off of the name and profile picture. Just the name and the profile picture. Can you tell what the gender identity is of this person? No, you can't. Just based purely off the name and profile picture, you can't. So if they were to put their pronouns in bio, that might actually be super helpful. Another example, as Ellen Degenerate in the chat is saying, Ellen Degenerate, I'm willing to bet purely off of the name, people would probably guess their gender identity wrong. So yeah, that's actually a good example. Let me see if I could find another one. Again, just casually scrolling through Twitter and avoiding gimmick accounts. What about this person? I have no idea who this person is. I'm literally just picking like a random person on Twitter. Okay. Random fucking person. No idea who they are. No affiliation, whatever. This person. Can you tell based off this profile picture and this name what their gender identity is? At first glance, I couldn't tell. Although now that I'm looking a little bit closer at the profile picture, I might be able to guess it. But either way, like, just at first glance, as you're scrolling through Twitter, like, you can't fucking tell. So, like, when I hear this argument of, oh, it's obvious, we already know, like, no, you can't.
You shouldn't have to put your pronouns in your bio.
Maybe in some cases you can, but not in all cases.
We never had to before, and it only became a thing because some weirdos in some sweaty, stinky basement decided to make it a thing as a part of a larger goal to destroy everything.
Again, I have to refer to the example of ASL back on AOL chat rooms. It's essentially the same fucking thing, just different execution.
That's normal.
It's not new.
That's why before just a few years ago, you never saw pronouns in people's social media profiles. You never saw.
Why does everybody always say like a few years ago? Like, I've been on the internet, I've been creating content on the internet since 2006. And I remember hearing people make like anti-SJW, that's what they called it back then. Now it's called like anti-woke content or whatever. But I remember people making anti-SJW content about like trans people and pronouns and bio and stuff like that way back then. So like whenever I hear like, oh, this was only a thing as of like a few years ago, it's like, dog, I was hearing this shit way back in 2006 as well. So like, I don't know. Gayfish in the chat says, I was in chat rooms in the 90s and literally the first thing you would ask everyone is ASL. It's the same fucking thing. Yeah, exactly what I said. Now, granted, my family couldn't afford a computer or the internet way back in the 90s. It wasn't until like the mid 2000s that we got our first computer and internet access. But yeah, it's literally the same thing. That's the argument I made before. ASL is literally just like early internet generation's version of pronouns and bio. It's the same fucking thing.
Saw the use of pronouns in anything.
Also, if like for the sex part, your answer wasn't plenty, you're doing it wrong. Tell me I'm wrong on that. How many times would you ask someone, for those of you guys who are like old school internet users, how many times would somebody type ASL in a chat room? And there's always at least like one person who, instead of putting their gender for like sex, they would type plenty. It happened every time.
From normal usage, but now you see them in every place that's invaded by leftists. So to put pronouns in your bio is to be a part of that movement, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter if your employer encourages you to do it. If they do, then grow a pair of balls and say no. If you don't, then you're part of the problem. So if you do have pronouns in your bio, that instantly makes you someone who is more than likely ideologically aligned to the left. And even worse, it makes it likely that you're going to espouse those views to brainwash young people.
I currently don't have like pronouns in bio, with the exception of like platforms that specifically have a feature specifically dedicated to that. Like Instagram has like a pronouns section on the profile, and so I have my pronouns set there. YouTube just added the option to configure your pronouns in bio, so I have that. Like, as a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and I'll pull up my YouTube channel so you can see what I'm talking about. But YouTube just added a feature recently where you can put your pronouns on your profile, and if you look at my YouTube channel, I've set up the pronouns that fit according to my choosing or whatever, right? So like for platforms that have a specific feature for that, I have my pronouns set there. But if you go to my Twitter, for example, like I don't have it set on there. That's not what I wanted. I don't have it set on there just because I choose not to. But honestly, with how outraged people get over pronouns in bio, I'm kind of thinking I should just put them in there just to piss these like dumbass people off. What do you think about that, chat? One in the chat if you think I should put them in there just to piss people off at this point. Anyway, let's continue.
People's minds, particularly if you're involved in a property like Super Mario that is enjoyed by many kids. That is ultimately why I said what I said. I may not have explained it in that way at that time, but I shouldn't have to, and I didn't have to. That's basically the extent of what I said in the original tweet. I thought absolutely nothing of it after I published it. I've made countless other tweets just like that.
Here's the thing, dude. Like, when you make a statement on a public platform, people in the public can respond. And in this case, a lot of people thought you said something really stupid that they disagreed with, and they responded. Like, you clearly want to have a presence publicly on the internet. You created a YouTube channel that you've used to make content. How long has this person been making content? They had a YouTube channel since 2015. They've also got a Twitch. They've obviously got a Twitter because, this is where this started, their tweet or whatever. So you clearly want to have a public-facing platform. And part of having a public-facing platform is sometimes you're going to say things and people are going to disagree with those things. Chat. So, were you not prepared for this potentially being a thing? Unbelievable.
That. Was it crude? I guess. Could it have been better written? It's Twitter. Who fucking cares? Did it warrant 4 million views and a massive hate campaign? Absolutely not. Did it warrant death threats?
The cope is so strong with this guy, I swear. Anyway, I'm not going to watch the rest of this video. It pretty much just sounds like them coping and seething the whole time. But like, look, at the end of the day, dude, you gave a take that a lot of people disagree with, and they shit on you for having that take. Welcome to the internet. That's what happens, okay? When you decide you want to have a public platform where you share your views on things for the entire internet to see, this is what's going to happen. Sometimes people are going to disagree with you, and those people who disagree with you are going to respond. It just kind of is what it is, chat. It's just one of those things, and if you can't take the heat, then, my dude, sounds to me like you need to get the fuck out of the kitchen. That's all I'm saying.